Viewers, subscribers, Dancehall Critics there with no once again, no people. Respect and manners to everybody who always tuning in. If it's the first time tuning in, please remember to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell icon. Most importantly, that way you get the instant notification each time we put out a new content. And while you're at it to people, please go over to Instagram and follow Dancehall Critics over there as well, so that we can continue to grow and make the numbers them go up. Today, I'm going to talk about Andre Holness' statement, of course, regarding the Maroon sovereignty, and of course Richard Currie's response. These are many more to discuss. We'll come back. So viewers, subscribers, respect to everybody we're tuning in right now to the channel. I know the thing go. Hope everybody's doing alright. Hope everybody's doing well. People, before going further, I'm asking you to kindly hit the like button on the video here. And of course, if it not take nothing out of you, share the video. Alright, so today we're going to talk about Andre Holness' position on the sovereignty of the Maroon state. Of course, they're an independent state, viewers and subscribers. And just to kind of add to our discussion here, this is a very interesting and very touchy subject. This has been a battle that has been going on for so many years, based on the little research that I gathered in just a few short hours. Because honestly, me get up early, people, and I decided to say, yo, I'm gonna talk about something, and I start see that the story and the whole argument there circulate, and I could think that. So I decided to go grace myself with a little bit more information, or provide myself with some more reading, or just research something else what can give me some more concrete information as to what is going on here. So what me understand is that Andre Holness on Sunday, of course, declared that there's no other sovereign authority in Jamaica other than the government of Jamaica. Under my leadership, and of course this is quoting from Andrew's own statement here, viewers and subscribers, saying under his leadership, not not 1 inch of Jamaica will come under any other sovereign authority, thus confirming that no state funding will be given to the Maroon community. Now, people, want to tell me if this is, in fact, the right decision for Andrew to make, given the fact that despite the fact that in 1739, when the British basically gave the Maroon tribe, because of their relentless defense strategy, where of course them not let up. So in other words, we know how that history they go, or some people may not know, but because of what the Maroon was given, which is sovereignty, and them not like them kind of something that viewers and subscribers, the other part of Jamaica, because it's kind of like this creates different territories and division and them look at thing there within the society itself, because this go far back to slavery days and of course colonial period. Seeing? But Andrew now, knowing say this of course are go be conflicting to any leadership, other than ours, because they have their own. That's what sovereignty is. Ultimate power. Seeing? Self-determination and all of these kinds of things is what some of the biggest problem is when it comes to the whole Maroon and their sovereignty. Yes, what I say, people? Whole heap of reading me did I do, and because of the history, and like I say, the British did basically give the whole treaty, seeing, where them basically made the Maroon autonomous. Yes, what I say? Autonomous to any societal, outside societal involvement. They basically made them their own independent state. And as a result, every governing body, except for PJ Patterson, based on some of the reading that I did, always oppose and try to, wipe out the idea of what was done. The 1739 treaty established the Maroons as an autonomous state or territory within the colonial Jamaica. The Maroon chief, represented by his autonomous community, and a white captain was appointed by the colonial Jamaica as its representative within the Maroon village. This I just look a bit of history me go in, yes, sir. So because of what Andrew said, him now go fund them and all of them look at something the viewers and subscribers. Richard CURRIE, of course, never find that, of course, he never set well with him. So him decided say, yo, him a go school Andrew upon the history. Seeing especially this treaty here where you hear me just talk about. And of course Andrew wouldn't be the first Prime Minister for try to overthrow them or disregard them and all of these things. You get to me as a people? But me I go show now, of course, what Richard CURRIE had to say in response. Yes, so me as a viewer subscribers, and of course, because of the lengthy discussion or explanation of their position as a sovereign nation who is very much autonomous, seeing that will be the end of the discussion. Via subscribers, I hope to make some sense out of this and learn a little bit of history. You understand me? Big up on yourself and manners. Check this out.
I would like to again start from the top in addressing the statements of the Prime Minister earlier today regarding the Maroons and sovereignty. Most Jamaicans have really no idea of the true history of the land, and a great deception took place to purposely create division between the hearts and minds of those who reside on this island. The deception goes far back to 1962 under the Bustamante administration, with the Siaga-led administration as well as the Andrew Holness administration, who are fully aware of the oath that was taken to keep Maroons subservient by crippling their financial capabilities over the last 60 years. Today I will read a letter from the House of Commons, which was entered into the British Parliament on July 6, 1962, 1 month before Bustamante, one month before Bustamante would have received the charter to have a responsible government from the monarch within the Commonwealth. Nowhere in the charter for Jamaica does it say Jamaica is a unitary sovereign state. I implore Jamaican citizens to do a bit of research with me. Go over the information. The Charter and Constitution of Jamaica came after the British monarch signed an agreement with the Maroon government. Now I'm going to read to you this letter from Tom Dryburgh, who's a member of Parliament. This letter is dated July 5, 1962 and stamped with an official seal, July 6, 1962, the House of Commons. I would have just posted that letter on my Instagram page. You could refer to it afterwards, but let me go through word by word. It says, Dear Colonial Secretary, I have from time to time taken an interest in the welfare of the Maroons of Jamaica, who have, as you know, a uniquely fascinating history. Some years ago, I was fortunate enough to be able to visit them in one of their main mountain villages, Akira, and much impressed, despite their poverty, by their independence of spirit and their determined adherence to the treaty rights which they won from the Crown long ago. Can you let me know what their exact position is now and is likely to be in the future? I heard recently from Jamaica that their colonel, as they call their chief man, was planning to lead a delegation to see Sir Alexander Bustamante. I feel certain that if under an independent Jamaica government, they are deprived of their treaty rights and their few thousand acres of land, they would appeal to the British Crown to protect them, and it seems desirable, if possible, to avoid a clash, however relatively modest, about a matter which could probably, with good sense, be settled amicably and with regard for the traditions of this proud people. Tom Dryburgh, Member of Parliament. In a response to Mr. Dryburgh's letter, Mr. Whiteleg wrote, Mr. Dryburgh is not asking for intervention, but for information as to the present situation of the Maroons and their future. We have had no indication of any recent change or of any reason to expect that the Jamaica government is planning to refute the Treaty on Independence, but we should ask and send an interim reply. Now, I would have put these up on my Instagram for you to go and have a look at. And take a real deep take a deep breath while you read to try and decipher what it is that is being said in that letter. Now, I recognize that Dr. Lloyd Barnett, who is being relied upon for legal standing on Jamaica's position with the Maroons, states in his constitutional review from his book that the island was terra nullius, which means that there was no one here before the British. This is a highly ignorant statement from a lawyer who should know that indigenous people were here before the crown, because we had fought multiple wars before the British Empire. This legal stance that Jamaica government is defending is actually keeping Jamaica from having a republic and keeping it as a responsible government under the monarch. The Jamaican government is a professional at begging the world. We're selling out our natural resources, we're selling out our lands. These are regular day-to-day conversations that permeate the island, as the government does not own its roads nor its airspace, amongst many other things. Which is why Maroons will not subject themselves to a municipality, because Mr. Holness and his cronies will try to take our ancestral estate, the cockpit country, and sell it to the highest bidder. If the Jamaican citizens choose not to understand their true history and stop blaming the Maroons as traitors, then the truth will be able to surface for the multitude to see. Today, in this era of time, it is globally accepted that nations have a reciprocal relationship as it deals with extradition. So when one reads the treaty, it's not hard to see that Jamaican citizens who were slaves at the time under the British Empire had a choice to join the Maroons under Kodjo or his successors and be protected. Those who were fugitives from criminal activities or wanted to disobey the treaty agreement would be returned, similar to how extradition works today. This is clause 6 of the treaty. There are two types of people on the island: those who are willing to be righteous at all costs and defend their estate from theft, and those who remain as house slaves and gatekeepers for the corruption of leaving the Maroons out in 1962. Each person on this island must decide who they are. The world is watching. Our ancestors are watching. The Most High is watching. Therefore, in closing, Mr. Holness, I say this to you. We, the Maroons of Cockpit Country, descendants of the first people of the archipelago now called Jamaica, would like to remind you of a few things. Jamaica is not a unitary sovereign state. Elizabeth II of House of Windsor is your queen and sovereign. Jamaica is simply fully responsible in Elizabeth's Commonwealth. 2, you are a signatory to the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Please go read this. You are an intelligent man. Jamaica has an extensive external debt and is constantly begging, so you rely on other sovereign nations. In other words, you are receiving funding from others. So please consider human and indigenous rights before you end up defunded as well. Number 4, Jamaica, as a government entity, begged for its independence, whereas the Maroons waged war for 83 years. The war is now over. The right to remit was passed to the government of Jamaica, as the British High Commissioner explained in his speech, not once, but twice, while you were sitting in front of him. I say this, please, please, let good sense prevail. Do the right thing, and please be guided accordingly. Thank you.